What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So I've really been thinking about something in the past few days. Arguably, I would say, with the domination in King of the Hill events going live, it became more and more obvious to me, and it's some sort of an issue that I can't seem to recall experiencing like any Battlefield game before, at least not to this degree with Battlefield 2042, and that is the issue with meta weapons, meta specialists, meta vehicles, and just generally speaking, having a meta, some sort of unbeatable meta for every single weapon category, every single class, and some vehicles are completely on another league and you can't compete with them. So if you've played 2042, you probably know what I'm saying, but for example, we've got guns like the AC9, the K30 for like SMGs. Everybody's playing them right now. Like, you jump on every lobby, someone's playing some K30, someone's playing AC9. Can't really jump in front of them with, like, let's say a like PP2000 to be able to kill them. If they're just average players, they will be able to kill you just because their guns are so overpowered that you can't basically compete with them. And don't even get me started on the PP29. This weapon is completely just out of this world. You can go against assault rifles, you can go against LMGs, you can go against SMGs, some of the top tier SMGs, and they just can't do anything against you. More than 60 rounds per mag, perfect firepower, perfect damage model, perfect recoil, everything's on another level with this weapon. So every time you see people in a close quarter map, you don't see someone playing the AKS-74U, for example. Everyone's playing the AC9, the K30, and the PP29. And there's nothing you can do to just encourage people to play something else because, well, it might seem boring to some people playing only one or two weapons, but you can argue that it's pointless going against people with weapons that you can't compete with. So you don't really have any other choice than to basically play the meta yourself to be able to compete. Like for assault rifles, for example, almost everyone's playing the AK-5C, the SCAR, the weapons that are completely dominating people in medium to long range. And if they want something close range, they wouldn't even bother going with assault rifles. They're just gonna pick a PP29 and it's gonna destroy every single assault rifle in close range. That's how the thing is. And what people do for like LMGs, they either play the RPT-31, which has a perfect damage model in my opinion, or they play the Avances, which has a very good recoil, a very decent fire rate, and just in general, it's some sort of an LMG with the firepower of some sort of assault rifle with that fire rate. One might ask, what about sniper rifles? Well, they added a one-shot kill NTW50 that is literally being played by every single sniper these days, especially in game modes like King of the Hill, where things are just a little bit more contained, I would say, or the gunfights are in close range most of the times. They're going to pick an NTW50 and you just can't do anything. What do you want to do against someone that can one-shot you in like under 120 meters? And it doesn't end there, really. It's not like you have meta weapons and things are okay beyond weapons. It's even there with specialists and vehicles. For example, you literally don't even have to play anything apart from Falk and McKay. For Falk, for example, you have the Surette pistol. You can heal yourself instantly, get back in the fight with full HP, and that is something you can't do with any other support specialist. Also, you can revive people twice as fast as any support specialist. These are things that make Falk really powerful. And on the other hand, you've got McCabe. That grappling hook enables you to do so many things. It enables you to go places where other specialists can't go. You can gain momentum on vehicles. You can destroy vehicles even with that hook before they can do anything against you. You have that nimble passive trait that's going to make you very fast when you're ADS. And things like that make other specialists worthless. Like, for example, in Assault class, who's going to be able to compete against McCabe? What, Sundance? That's just a fucking clown, you know, wingsuiting through the map, doing nothing, doing trick shots. Can Dozer really compete with McKay? Got nerfed so many times that it just really isn't a specialist anymore. Can't really do anything with it. How about Angel? Angel is literally worthless against both Irish and Falk. It's just incredible how there are so many like overpowered specialists in this game to the point where other specialists are almost worthless. You just can't play with them because they're not competitive enough against those meta specialists. And don't even get me started on vehicles in this game. You play a tank, some unknown dude can jump on you with an attack heli, damn, even a stealth heli, and they can absolutely destroy you, wait for your active protection to expire, and then finish you off without you being able to do anything against them. Like, if you've played vehicles, MAVs, brawlers, tanks, Tor, whatever it is, if you've played them, you know how strong those air vehicles are. Jets even, they can just finish you off in a single dive without you being able to do anything. Some people might argue that Wildcat is very strong against air vehicles. Yes, but most of the times Wildcats are weaker when it comes to armor and they tend to play behind the front line. on hills and stuff like that. You know how those AA players play. They camp on a hilltop and call it a day. You know, get some kills and they stay in the same place for the entire match. They don't really help the team. So in a real match, you can't really expect anyone to play some wildcat with defending you against those air vehicles. You just can't. That's not going to happen. So in general, ground vehicles are defenseless against air vehicles, and that's really frustrating compared to a game like BF4 or BF1, for example. There are so many meta weapons out there that you can't really pick other weapons to be competitive against people that are either in your skill level or basically just above average. Whoever's above average with a meta weapon can most of the times kill you if you're not also playing some sort of meta weapon to be able to compete with them. So this meta issue actually destroyed some games, even are destroying them as we speak. For example, Delta Force's weapon attachments make meta weapons. If you have played Delta Force, you know that gunsmith that they have, they can basically turn weapons into monsters with just a few attachments if you play enough with that weapon to unlock them. So over there, you even have meta attachments, something that I don't think we see in like BF 2042, except for something like the master key, for example, which is very strong. But in general, attachments in 2042 aren't really that different when it comes to like performance for weapons. They're not really. And even COD has always had some meta weapons. Even in Warzone, people are just all playing with 2 to 3 weapons as their main loadout. Like they all thrive to get those weapons to be able to compete on Warzone. And something exactly similar is happening in 2042, and in my opinion it has been happening for quite some time now, because over time the weapons have been balanced in a way that they actually promoted these meta weapons. And it just kind of worries me to see something like this happening to the next Battlefield game, because apparently we're gonna have so much more weapon variety compared to 2042, and maybe having some meta weapons in 2042 wouldn't really hurt a lot of people, because we don't really have a lot of weapons here. Like we have like 10 SMGs. I don't exactly know how many we have, but we have like 10 SMGs, and it's not really a flex to be able to play with 3 of them as meta SMGs, you know. But imagine getting started with like 50 weapons on launch. That's something that they claim is going to be the case for the next Battlefield game. If you start out like that and you have like 1 meta LMG, 1 meta assault rifle, 2 meta SMGs, then it's going to completely ruin the excitement of playing new weapons and like getting good with them. In a game like Battlefield 4, for example, I could play the F2000, someone could play the Ace-23, some other people could play the AEK 971, and we could all compete on the same level, because none of these weapons were on a godlike level compared to the others. So for example, if you have played Battlefield 4, the F2000, the Ace-23, these weapons were on the same sort of level when it came to performance. The AEK 971 was a very good weapon, but it had something to compete with it, and it was the FAMAS, which was something even higher in fire rate. I believe FAMAS was 1000 RPM and the AEK was something like 900 RPM. They could compete, you know. It wasn't like the AEK was the meta weapon. So in my opinion, this has to be the approach. This has to be what they need to do when it comes to weapons, vehicles, attachments, if they are going to implement some sort of gunsmith in the next game. And the classes shouldn't be really implemented in a way where you don't really want to play, for example, assault class, because it sucks. It shouldn't be like that. There should be a balance. There should be some place for everyone on the battlefield to be able to do their part and be effective for the team, whether it's the weapon, whether it's the attachment they use, whether it be the class they want to play, and even the vehicles they want to play. Air vehicles really shouldn't be that overpowered, and ground vehicles shouldn't be that weak, so they can't really be bullied by every single air vehicle. That, in my opinion, is very important to make some sort of balanced battlefield. Something like Battlefield 1 or Battlefield 4, for example. This meta issue actually didn't start in 2042. It started back in the days of Battlefield 5, and it just grew bigger and bigger in 2042 to the point where I believe it's a very concerning issue right now for the next game. And if they want to succeed with balancing things out in the next game, they really shouldn't make a god tier weapon and leave the rest of the weapons as they are, because that's not going to work. Do make sure to go down in the comment section. Let me know what you think about today's video. Let me know what you think about having meta weapons. I've read some of your comments, guys. I know most of you are completely frustrated with this meta thing and you don't really want to see this, but just generally speaking, if you like having some sort of meta in the game, if you don't like it, do make sure to comment down below. Just let me know why. We're going to have a good conversation down there as well. Thank you all guys for watching. Thank you for your time. And until next time, guys, stay cool.